sausages, beans, brown toast, coffee, bubble, and hash browns. Has everything, full house. My first pro board was Pacer Neil Dan's that I got off a guy around my way, and he was like fucked. And he'd got into doing graffiti and he wasn't skating no more. It was like going trucks and like different colour slime balls. I started pretty late. I think I was nearly 15. Yeah, I think I started Easter just after my 15th birthday or around my 15th birthday. Can't remember. I think you'd have to check the dates. I guess Back to the Future or Police Academy. Probably Leon C. Just because it's been probably the spot that I spent the most time at ever. I dropped in on that tombstone and I thought my stomach was going to come out of my mouth, you know, because it's just like 3 foot. I guess it was like, what, 6 foot of vert on that? And you just drop in and it felt like your front wheels didn't touch, like you were like that, and your stomach's just going, and you're thinking, I've got to stop falling soon, like all my gut's going to come out of my mouth. And then you skate with Dave Robinson, you do like nollie pivot fakies on it, like it was like fucking nothing. And it was quite thin. If you went off the edge of that, it was like 16 foot to the floor. He's like, Dave Robinson skated like a 4 foot mini ramp. This is the crew, me, Lewis Charles, Sean Ward. Who was there those days? Like mostly I skated with like John and Dave Robinson, Brewster, Pete King, Dave Chesson, and then like other guys, Matt Naylor. It's like, but they were like main for like, I guess that lasted about 3 or 4 years. Oh man, it's tough because everyone thinks he's a Nazi, but probably Jason Jesse from Streets on Fire. Just because it's not that the skating's amazing, it's just like good music.
I try to work and I keep thinking of World War III!
Fucking makes you want to go skate, like every time.
Who's in there?
I watch that, it's just like, fuck yeah, I wish I could do massive frontside ollies. Everything about that is like, at that time in my life, that was what skateboarding was. And like even now, it's just like, boom. And then probably a close second to that would be maybe Buster Hortman in Now and Later. Just same again, it's just like good skating, that's where I was with skateboarding then. Neil Blender, Coffee Break. Oh, tough. Traditionally, I like Dom Pendleton is incredible, pretty much everything he does is amazing. Michael Leon, John Horner, like they're all really different, but I like that really like geometric, like really clean stuff rather than like kind of like sketchy. You know, like I like it, but I like Gonzi's stuff, but it's not my favourite. I like, yeah, Dom Pendleton, Neil Blender, and Michael Leon. My one, the one he just done for 40. You know why I like that? This is a good John Horner story, makes you see like a good dude. He's not, he's an arsehole. We were talking about that graphic. This is how I end up with a graphic on my board, and I don't think he'd seen it. If I remember right, he hadn't seen it, and I was trying to describe it to him because that's another one of my favourite graphics. And I only found out the other day, Kate's told me this, I never knew this, that it's a drawing of Eric Nash, the original. I didn't know that. Kate's just come out with that, so you learn something new every day. But we were talking about that graphic, and Horner hadn't seen it, and I showed him it, and then like a week later he just walked in the shop and was like, yeah, I drew this up, and it was that. He's changed it a little bit to make my beard longer, because it was a while ago, but I've got the original up on the wall in my bedroom, so like that's my favourite. Cause it was like, imagine being that good at drawing, just like, oh yeah, fuck, I'm just gonna redraw one of the like most iconic board graphics just on a bit of paper for this guy, like randomly. So yeah, everything he does is pretty much amazing. Oh, that's easy. The one of Chris Miller, shot by Grant Britton, where it's on the pole front side there, and it's like, you can see the shadow, it's like kind of out of the shot, but it's just fucking everything about that photo. I like Andy Evans' stuff, because he don't take it seriously. Fuck, he called me out with that one. Oh man, take your pick. Grove's a fucking nightmare. Cashman back in the day was the worst. Like Cashman nearly got us arrested because he was chucking like wine glasses and wine bottles out the window of the van like along the motorway coming back from Blackpool or something. Groves was cool though because he would be a knobhead and then he'd get up and apologise and probably cry. And then he like, oh, he's learnt his lesson, then he'd do it again the next day. Probably the one I laughed on the most was we went to Croatia with Chris Oliver, Chris Vile, Ben Norberg, Niall Kenny filmed it, and Sam Ashley shot photos, and Ross was on it as well. It was amazing. It was so easy. Vans Croatia hooked me up with this contact, and it turned out he used to skate and he owned the hotel. So he turned up and he just went, all right boys, here's a spot map. Here's like, do you want a beer? Like he cooked us meals every night, and it was like, he was the soundest guy every night. He'd want to see the footage. He's like, I've never seen that spot. You know, he's like an older guy, I hadn't skated for years, and he could skate to everywhere. Sorry. That's all right, you're right, cool. The shop's the priority. I need to pay rent. 5 years. 5 years of misery, poverty, depression, anxiety, stress. It's a laugh owning a skate shop though, isn't it? Best thing I've ever been asked for was low top wellies. Yeah, if I get an hour and a half, 2 hours, I'm pretty pleased. Every now and again, like, just get a bit longer. Huh? Oh, that's amazing. Thank you very much. Coloured me in. You got a unicorn stuck on your back. Mikado, got chocolate ranchos. Love you. See you soon. See you later, cheese face.